Welcome to DJN TV and Tuesday Night with Ben Stowe. Now introducing the one and only Ben Stowe.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you won't believe it. It's Tuesday night and it's time to talk to Ben Stowe. Oh my gosh, your favorite night of the week. Here it is.
You know, it's my favorite night of the week because it's the night that I have the best chance that my wife is going to bring me ice cream. And this time there is no suspense, viewers. I got it ahead of time. It is in the bank, so I'll be slurping that throughout the show. You're welcome.
And you won't have to worry about it dripping like a blizzard because it's got the nice cup and you're ready to go. It's like destiny.
Yeah, she took good care of me tonight. So,
it was meant to happen.
I think, you know why? I think one, I think she really enjoys the sport of the ice cream thing with the show, which of course I don't mind. But two, I'm on the road again, starting tomorrow. A very short, we'll call it a very, very mini tour.
Uh-huh.
It's a very, very mini tour. It's a couple shows, but it's at the same venue. They're just easier to move in different groups of people. I guess it's an outdoors. Everything be very safe. Socially distanced and that sort of thing. Obviously, we're all really tuned into that. But I gotta admit, I've been experiencing a range of emotions through the pandemic, as I think most people have. And I'm really happy about the emotions I have today, not just because of the ice cream, but I'm happy about that. But I'm a little excited. Mm-hmm. And I got to confess, I realized that we're on the air and this is probably a terrible time to have like a therapy session, but why not? If you think about it, John, you round the corner with Christmas and all the Christmas shows and the Christmas tours, and then there's NAMM and there was your show, and I had a bunch of other shows going on, concerts and things. And then my family, we went on a vacation, and that involved flying, which for them was great. For me, it was just like, oh my gosh, one more flight, right back, bang, 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 some shows packed in. I got to be honest, in March, when suddenly the switch got flipped and, there was no more shows, I was tired. And I'm sitting here thinking, I'm not sure I'm in a hurry to get back and do this. Yeah. I'm not sure I want to just go out there and throw my body into the meat grinder that is, touring and shows. And then that worried me a little bit because one, I'm not really any good at anything else. But two, I thought, this is an industry that I've been in almost 30 years and I love. And here I find that I just don't love it as much as I used to. Anyway, so fast forward now to August, and as the hours and days count down to, the only shows that I'll do all summer, probably, I'm a little excited. Mm-hmm. I'm happy that I'm excited. I'm happy that I can't wait to get back in there. A little bit of kind of like, gosh, am I going to remember how to do this? I fall off. It's like falling off a bike, right? You'd never forget that. But I went down to the warehouse today and I watched the guys loading the truck and watching those road cases roll by, and I was like, yeah, this is good. I'm a little excited. Mm-hmm. And I've been talking to guys in the band, due to some unique circumstances. One, I've worked with this band many times and I have a lot of familiarity with all the members now. Two, their tour manager isn't able to travel right now due to some of the things with the COVID. And so, handling more of these things directly with the guys in the band. And there's a little bit of this too. They're like, yeah, we almost don't know what to pack anymore. Like, how do we do this? So I just, John, viewers, everybody, I want to tell you, it's really with a very happy heart that I can tell you I'm really excited to get back to it. Now we'll see how I feel when I start unloading that truck. But
yep.
Right now I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty ready to get back to it and make some big noise.
And it's interesting, kind of continuing on that thought, is I'm hearing as people are going back to doing an event here, event there, there's really two different feelings or responses. There's the excited, wow, I'm back to work. And then you've got some folks who are feeling this like dread, whether it's a dread because of they've had this time to do things and they've been with the family, or some are, concerned about, what if type of situations. I don't think neither of them are right or wrong, or neither, it's just the reality, and to accept, where a person's at and to move forward as best one can as we're doing this.
Well, they are what they are. Like you said, it's sort of like you can't control what you dream. I think, again, for me, thinking back to, March, April, even into May, where I realized just how tired I was and how beat up I was, and how I just didn't want to go back to an airport or, go out on the road again to, a tour or whatever. And that was, that did bother me. I had to kind of think about that. I'm like, boy, I don't know how, how do you reconcile that? Because it's honestly how you feel, and so you're having this kind of inner discussion. But again, I whatever you're feeling right now, I think that's normal. And I wouldn't say I have any dread. And again, if you do, that doesn't mean that that's bad or wrong. Mm-hmm. I will say a little bit of nerves, I'm not nervous, but I'm aware that this is complicated and there's a lot of moving parts, and, and it's live, it happens in front of you, and I'm a little out of practice. But I'm excited too, it's like, just, put me in, coach. I'm ready for that. So, viewers, look, however you're feeling, I think it's really important to just, take ownership of that, take stock of that, be honest with yourself, allow yourself to feel and explore that. Say, why do I feel this way?
Right.
It's healthy in that sense, and again, I've been able to reconcile those feelings and I'm rested, and but it has made me think about how I'll handle the future now, to say, well, what can I do to achieve some balance?
Right.
So I don't get feeling beat up again. That's not to say you don't have, Mama said there'd be days like this, right? There's always going to be those days or times, but overall finding balance so we can keep doing what we love and keep loving what we do.
Yeah. And that's the important thing about it, is to make it so it's something enjoyable, something that we can continue to love while still taking care of those important things in our lives.
I'm not going to lie. I'm going to enjoy pushing that fader for the first time. I'm probably going to enjoy sound check more than the show, because I'm going to have I'll have a little more fun in sound check. It won't even be sound check. The sound check is for the band. I'll just do a little sound check for me, and I can just be a little naughty, have a little fun with it. Yeah. Just, hey, we're back. Everybody's going to know we're back.
Yeah. Funny. Let's jump into tonight's topic. Tonight, we want to dig into the Evolve 30.
Look, you got an Evolve 30.
I do, and it keeps going. That's one of the things that it would be nice if there would be. I need to get a second poll if they make one yet. I don't know if they make one yet, but I've had this on stage twice, and it's this way. The top in this room, this is a 9.5 foot ceiling, and the top of the speakers right at the ceiling height.
Well, now, could you just use half the pole?
No. The way they've got the poles designed is that connection is not the same connection as.
Okay. Yeah. I should know that, but I honestly didn't pay that close of attention.
It's amazing how many, people who own this have asked that same question when we've talked about it. And they're like, I've just never looked at it too carefully. And until you actually do, and you look at it and say, oh, wow, they look similar.
I didn't until you and I were having this conversation, right? In front of thousands of our closest friends.
Yeah. We just a weird little thing with that. And having a 16-inch version would be for applications like this. But anyway, so tonight, Ben, let's kind of talk a little bit for those who they've heard us talk about the Evolve 30s a little bit. Brian's done some videos with them. I've done some things with it, used them in shows. People, are like, oh, should I go that direction? Should I do an Evolve 50? Should I do this? Should I, let's kind of give them an idea of what the Evolve 30 is all about.
I think it's really important that we say the Evolve 30 by its full name, which is the Evolve 30M.
Yes.
Because the M is really where the rubber hits the road. The Evolve 30, as it were, if we leave the M off, would simply be a smaller version of the Evolve 50. 10-inch sub versus 12, smaller top drivers. Just when you don't need, quite the firepower of the Evolve 50. Now, if you're saying, firepower of the Evolve 50, it doesn't have that much firepower. Well, it does for what it is. Mm-hmm. Of course it's not a touring line array, but obviously there's a lot of DJs out doing events with the Evolve 50, and when you use it for the right thing, it's the real deal. And there are circumstances where you would not need as much as the 50 has.
Yeah.
So the 30 would be, ideally suited for that. What really makes the 30 awesome is that they added a mixer to it. It has an onboard digital mixer, and it's fairly simple as far as mixing boards go, which I think is, it's good and good. Again, from a pro touring sound guy's standpoint, it misses features I'd love to have. But those features come at a cost, and they come with complexity. I think this is something that anybody can walk up and use, fairly quickly. You can add some really rich features to what you're doing, and it's done very simple. I do wish they had a hard mode on there. There's some features that I'd love to see them added. Maybe in time, it's just software. They can add that. It's just an app. So. But anyway, I love this because it's perfect for somebody doing a ceremony or a coffee shop gig or, portable PA application where you just need to bring in less pieces of gear and you need to get it in quick, and you need to have some of those features in front of you. So I'll probably be thinking a lot about the Evolve 30 tomorrow while I'm unloading a truck.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit different application, but yet surprisingly,
why couldn't we do this gig with an Evolve 30?
I've used this. I've had it out now a couple of times, and been just really surprised at. I was expecting a bigger drop off in the sound quality, pressure, what have you, from the Evolve 50. Yes, it doesn't have quite the bass as Evolve 50, but yet it isn't a huge Evolve 50 up here and Evolve 30M down here. I mean, it
hangs pretty close.
It does, surprisingly close. So they've definitely done a nice job creating a cabinet that can do well, and it just a little bit smaller form factor for fitting in the car, a lot easier.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, yeah, it's again, for what it's intended to be used for, that's something else that we spent some of the downtime doing is weighing all of our road cases and setting up a barcoded manifest system so we don't overload trucks. So we know what that truck weighs when it goes out, which is important for weigh stations, of course.
Right.
But we were all taking guesses as to what our feeder cable trunk weighs. And our mutual friend Kirk was in the shop today, and we just happened to be there at the wrong time. So I said, "Kirk, what do you think that weighs?" And I think he guessed 500 pounds was his guess. But anyway, it's about 650 pounds. So that's one trunk of cables is 650 pounds, and we're talking about that's one trunk of cables is 650 pounds, and we're talking about a speaker that weighs like 50 pounds here. So yeah, the Evolve 30, great for what it's intended to do. Nice that you can carry in a mixer and a speaker all in one, thing and set it up and do what it does.
So I've got a couple of questions before we jump into the app. We can we can plug a couple of microphones into it. So if we just need it for mic support, we're good with that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How about guitars? This was actually a question that I've had from a couple of people asking, do you need to have a DI type box to get a guitar into it? Like an electric guitar?
Short answer, no. It does have a dedicated high Z input on it. Actually, can you flip around the back? Can you spin it?
Hang on a sec. I got to take these.
Yeah.
Ta-da! The top.
If I was smart, I'd be using this opportunity to eat some ice cream while he's not paying attention. All right. Wait for John to get his ears back in.
Can we see? Yeah.
Yep. Look at that. Now, if you look at channel 4, there's the silver 1/4 inch below the combo jack, and that is a dedicated high Z input. Z stands for impedance. So we could plug our instrument right into that. We also have the combo jacks on the other ones, and with mixed results, we could try plugging instruments into those. But just wanted to point out that high Z input is basically, and a few shows ago we talked about direct boxes, direct insert, DI, whatever. That's what it is. Basically built into the Evolve.
And as long as we're looking at the back, we've got our RCA input. We have our Bluetooth coming in, I think, on channels 7 and 8.
Yeah, it's the stereo pair. Yeah.
Oops, I just did it.
What'd you do?
I woke it up. It's not, it's wanting to Bluetooth connect, which of course it was connected to my iPad earlier.
Oh, gotcha.
So.
Well, and another thing that we should point out there too is you have a loop output, which is nice because if we're mixing this, if we're using the onboard mixer, which is again one of the best parts of this thing, we can send this to another Evolve. So if we had two 30s, we could mix it on one and just send a mixed output to the next one. But two, which we'll talk about when we get into the app, the other jack, there is a Aux Jack. And an aux is simply, as the name implies, an auxiliary mix, basically a second mix. And some scenarios that we might do this would be recording, where maybe we want a little bit more guitar in the recording than we would hear live because the guitar makes sound in the room. Mm-hmm. So we don't maybe need as much of it in the PA, as an example. Or really common and a great feature to have built in here is a monitor.
Oh,
so if you've got somebody performing on this, and again, I know this show is for DJs, but let's just think for a minute, a singer-songwriter sitting there with the Evolve 30 as their PA, they can now have a separate monitor mix for them, and it will be mixed by this speaker, which is really pretty awesome. I think that impressed me that they put that feature on there. And then there's also right there. Yeah. And then there's also a foot switch connection, which, of course, guitar players use foot switches and foot pedals all the time to toggle effects and, different sorts of things. So this is, again, designed for, I would call it at this point, expansion, but, will allow the performer to trigger things with their feet.
Sure.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
By the way, fun nugget. Totally other end of the spectrum.
Really? We've never done totally other end of the spectrum thing during a show. We've always stayed right on task, right on topic. So this will be different.
Time touring boards have GPIs or GPOs, which is general purpose inputs, general purpose outputs. You could even, and I'm stealing this from Matt, who knows who he is, but this is he loves to talk about this. But anyway, Matt, with apologies to you, I know you're not watching this show, but he'll use that to toggle between clean channel and dirty channel on a guitar. You'll have separate channels for the guitar, depending on if they're going clean or dirty or different, pedals or whatever. And so when the guitar player toggles that, the GPI on the board automatically toggles it, so the sound engineer never misses a mute cue. So pretty cool. We can automate that using those sorts of features.
Okay, so now I have to ask, what's the difference between a dirty and a clean?
Well, so you got, maybe like a distortion pedal or something, or, you've got, where the guitar has, dirty versus, that clean melodic, that sort of thing. And many times, particularly in bass, sometimes we'll run both simultaneously. You'll have one that's just a little bit more, I like to call it crunchy, and then one that's a little bit more clean, and you can sort of contour the sound at that point. Again, we're talking about more advanced features than this mixer, and that's the good. And the good of it is that while it doesn't have a lot of these types of features, that makes it much simpler to use. Sure. But there's now a thing called like nodal mixing, where we might take a channel and process it many different ways. For example, the new like the Quantums, the Quantum series, the SD7 Quantum from Digico, I think it's capable of like 640 mix channels. And you'd say, where would I ever have a band that has 640 channels? Well, you never would, right? Probably not. But what if you took that vocal and processed it 12 times? So if you had 40 channels being processed 12 times, now you've used up a lot. 500. Yeah,
exactly. It really adds up quickly.
So, and not that you would, but you could. At some point it just gets crazy, and it's too crazy for me. But anyway, the point is, so you might have bass guitar coming in 3 or 4 times. And maybe you got a bass DI, you've got some bass mics, we got one that's a little clean, one that's a little dirty. And we can start to bring that together. Intentionally for a sound. And I suppose it's not that you couldn't do that on this. Would just be harder, Sure. But anyway, it has a moral of the story. It has a foot switch for future expansion, I think. So
excellent.
You could do those. I don't know, if they're going to add, I would love to see them add some features for the foot switch. Effects mute would be at the top of my list. other mutes would be great. Toggle things like that. Scenes would be nice. But again, I'm just getting crazy here.
So, as not familiar with the foot switch side of it, is a foot switch is it one button that they're pushing, or is it a multi-button device?
It's usually on or off. It's, just a Boolean yes or no kind of thing, in or out.
Okay.
So
gotcha. All right, let's jump to the app so we can kind of show people, because one of the big neat features with the Evolves, or even some of the ELX 200 series, is an app will help you control them and monitor them.
Well, all right. Let me fire this bad boy up, and all goes well. We'll see an app shortly.
And
wait for it. There we go. All right. So we'll go ahead and open the EV QuickSmart app, and I said we'll open the QuickSmart app.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
All right. Now, this is going to surprise everybody. I don't have any speakers in my house. I know. Weird, right? John does. John's doing this way better than me. But anyway, what we can see by our little frowny face is that right away, this has said, hey, there are no speakers in range.
And we're sad.
Now, the good news is that means it does this automatically when there are. It happens really quick and fast. So we're going to go ahead and turn on demo. And I'm going to find an Evolve 30, and there it is. So I've found the Evolve 30, and that's it. I'm now connected to the Evolve 30. And what we can see here is I've got a very simple mixer at this point. I can choose how much of my sub is in the mix, which I really like, by the way. And when I mix big shows, I always run my sub on an aux. Now, we don't have that ability within this little mixer. And that's probably a good thing, because again, it adds complexity that people that are using this aren't going to want. You can't really use this without the sub anyway. It's a system. But anyway, it's cool that we do have a sub level. That's kind of as close as you're going to get in this. And I love that they put that feature in there. And again, we have our little basic 3-band EQ. You got some bass, mid, treble, right? Whatever. But, and then our overall volume. What's way more betterer. Much more better. By the way, I should mention we have some presets down here. We can choose basic or mixer. We don't want basic. This is not a show for basic.
Basics for losers.
And we also have these presets: club, live, music, speech. So that will contour the EQ within the speaker for you. We'll just leave that alone. Flavor to suit. No wrong answers here. Let's go into our edit mixer. This is where the good stuff happens. So what we can see right here is it looks like a mixer. And we have signal and clip indicators on every channel. Let me find my annotation tools. All right, there they are. So nice that we've got that on every channel. And move my window back here. What we also have, and we can see this, is we've got looks just like a mixer. I've got my channels, I got my mutes, simple, plain, easy to use. But let's dive in a little bit deeper. We can see that we've got our 4 mono channels, 2 stereo channels. This one has the Bluetooth on it. You can see the Bluetooth icon right there.
Oh, there. Okay.
And then, of course, our main level right here. So we've got, kind of like our mixer. Now, we'll look at these buttons on the right-hand side in a second. But for now, we're just going to dive into a channel real quick. So right away, here I am in my channel.
So what did you do to get there?
Let's go back here. I just clicked on let me see if I can do I'm getting crazy with the tools here. Go back to my annotation. Just click there.
Excellent.
I can't see you. All right. So I just select there, and now I'm into this screen where we can see for this channel, I've got let me see if I can just do this. I've got a compressor. I've got my 3-band EQ. I've got some effects channels and my aux mix. And then, of course, my main level and my mute. Okay. Let's talk about these individually. So let's start with the compressor. Actually, let's not. Change my mind.
That was my favorite one. I wanted to ask all sorts of questions about.
Good. We're going to go up here first, and I'm going to go to rename input. And I'm going to make this. No, autocorrect got me.
Yeah, John Box is pretty close.
It's like a beatbox. Anyway, this is John's vocals here, okay? And I could go on to channel 2, and I could make that Ben Vox. And, of course, we remember that 4 is the one that has the high Z input. So let's give John a keytar. You just don't see enough keytars in the world anymore.
And you know, it is a dream of mine.
I suspected.
I just that day that I'll be on stage with tens of people around me, and I will be there playing my guitar.
I could see you in like skin tight leather zebra striped pants playing a keytar. That's the vision that just came to my head.
With a big gaudy Uncle Sam hat.
Well, yeah.
That would be great.
Anyway, we better get back to the topic. So let's save compressor for a little bit last, maybe, actually. But here's my level for that channel. So this would be the same as if I went to that screen and I was raising and lowering the sliders.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got, if I want to do some individual EQ on the channel, again, it's basic. It's just a 3-band EQ, but, you know, maybe for a vocal, I don't want as much bass in there. But wait, there's more. Check down here in the corner. Everybody see where I went there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That gives us all these presets. And how cool is that?
Ooh.
So, male vocals, I'm going to probably pick 80 or 120. You know, just depends. Let's start with 80 for you. And I'll just go, okay, so now I've got my low cut filter already in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can use my EQ for other things. Let's say John's singing and we want to give him a little bit of verb in there, put a little reverb in there, and we just want more John's. So let's put a lot of chorus in there. Let's go crazy. Let's just more chorus. I wish it went to 11. Maybe not. And John needs more of him in the monitor. I need more of me. Me.
It's all about me.
Now, the problem here is if there's 2 of us playing, there is only 1 monitor, so we're going to have to agree on that. But anyway, John needs lots of John in the monitor.
I need to know what I'm sounding like. Like.
By the way, that monitor, that aux, could also feed an in-ear. It doesn't have to go to a wedge. It's just an XLR output, so you could use that to feed an IEM or a wedge. Cool thing.
Excellent.
Now, last but not least, our compressor. And what we can see on this app right now is basically we just have kind of a selectable number. We don't have some of the things that we would expect to see on a pro compressor. Often, I mean, essential is to be able to change the attack and the release and the threshold. Also, sometimes we can change things like the knee. And I'm going to pause this and I'm going to do another screen share real quick because I'm just so excited that I get to go do a show tomorrow. I want to show you what my compressor looks like. So bear with me because I was not planning on doing this. So this will take me a minute to find this.
Somebody asked in the Facebook, so while you're doing that, I'll hit this. They were asking about what the wattage was or the draw of a Evolve 30 at about 50% signal. We've been actually testing the Evolve 30 on a 150 watt Ryobi little inverter, and that can run with a kilowatt. You're somewhere in at 35 watts on the kilowatt or less. It's surprisingly low of how little electricity it takes to run these at that mid-level volume.
Let's see. I'm going to, how will I do this? This is how I'll do this. Everybody gets to see my confused face right now.
Yeah.
They see that a lot on the show, I think, actually.
Sometimes it happens. As we're just getting ready to make awesomeness. So it's going to go.
All right. So I apologize. The best way I could get this imported here, it came out kind of fuzzy. But it's just a miracle I was able to get it at all. This is the multi-band compressor off of a Digico SD series console. And that was
looks like
luckily I had a
geometry
picture.
worksheet I gave to my kids.
Yeah, and Digico has an emulator that runs on Windows, but I'm on a Mac, so I had to quick steal this and pull it over. Anyway, here we can see there's a lot more going on that I can adjust. You know, like I said, here's the let's get my little annotation tool back here. Maybe too many windows. Goodness sakes. So in this case, it's sort of like putting a crossover in front of a compressor, and that's why we basically have 3 compressors that we're looking at.
Okay.
So there's that crossover, but here are some things that we would typically see. Let's just assume this is 1 compressor and not 3, basically. We have our threshold, we have our attack, we have our release, we have our ratio, and then we have makeup gain. And so those are things that we would use to use this compressor artistically speaking. In this particular case, you can see this compressor is for kick drum. And so I would do things to shape and contour the way that kick sounds. And some viewers might say, hey, that looks pretty cool. And others might go, wow, that looks really confusing. Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, the good news is you don't have that on the Evolve 30. You have compressor. Mm-hmm. But unlike some mixing boards that have a compressor button, at least it's adjustable, which is pretty cool.
So as we're adjusting that knob or that the little gauge there for the compressor on the Evolve 30M, what are we experiencing when it comes to the sound?
I would expect, and I will have to admit, I have not used it. Mm-hmm. This, I'm not sure how our viewers are going to take this. Even if I was using an Evolve 30, I would use an external mixer because I'm a spoiled baby. I have a hard time giving up the things that you see on the screen. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I honestly don't know. I haven't tried. My expectation would be, and by the way, if you're really disappointed, remember, the show is free. I would expect that in essence, we are bringing down the threshold and or increasing the amount of overall compression, or as we would see it on this screen here, the gain reduction. You know, so when that threshold is met, how much am I reducing the signal based on, you know, that number? So more compression means more reduction, I would imagine.
Okay.
Here's what I would say. Compressors are awesome tools that, particularly in the way that we're seeing them here, can be used not only to shape and contour sound, but compressors can also be used to make sounds louder. I don't think that's going to be the case the way it's being used in the Evolve 30, but I do think you should try it and play with it, even though I didn't. You should, you know, experiment with how that affects your sound. Sure. Again, if you're, if you're just using this for vocal, I would probably anticipate, I'm going to go ahead and shut this screen down.
Yep.
If you're using that for vocals, I would expect that this would be a way that you can help control transients. So, and what I mean by transients is that's a fancy word for saying somebody got really loud for a second, or they dropped the microphone or something like that. That anything, you know, we got this signal here and then all of a sudden, boom, it spikes. That compressor could be really good to control those transients. Or if you have someone whose levels are all over the place,
yeah,
we can start to kind of bring them down with the compressor so you can bring the overall level up. And now too much compression is not going to sound good, but that'll kind of help keep everything sort of in the middle, as it were. Anyway, but I haven't tried it. So a little science fair for me, perhaps in the future.
There you are.
I did promise our mutual friend Mike Dussault that I would do a video on the Evolve 30. So viewers, stay tuned. I will play with it, and you know what? We'll have a little fun. Maybe I'll try putting a kick drum into a channel and seeing what happens. I don't expect to get the same results I would off a $50, $70, $100,000 console, but hey, let's give it a whirl. Or more. Also, speaking of videos, total sidebar. ADHD moment, as it were, and really? I am the
has this ever happened before?
Never. First time.
I think so. Wow. This is a night of first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, you can go back and watch all 210 videos we've done, and you'll never see this in any other video.
Never.
But next Tuesday, we're going to do something different. Now, for those who don't know, I hijacked the Katie cast. Took over Katie's Katie cast, and some payback might be coming. She might be hijacking my Tuesday night. But there's a chance, just the tiniest bit of chance, that I might still be in the show. So it'll either be me or Katie. But we've got some really special guests, and we're going to talk about, sort of more than mixing. We've got some of my friends from Roland DJ. We've got, let me look at the list here. We got my guy, Daniel Lee, who is awesome, by the way. I love Daniel Lee. If you don't know Daniel Lee, he's one of the nicest guys in the industry and super talented. I'm excited about him. Truth is, I'm going to be just kind of along for the ride if I'm in the show. And if it's Katie, then I'm just going to enjoy watching Katie be along for the ride because, hey, with this kind of talent that's in the show, we got Matthew Shaquan. He's the rolling global strategic manager for DJ. Everybody knows Matthew, I think.
Yep, you saw him or met him. Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely. We've got Miles Medina, another super talented guy. He's going to come in and do some stuff live, I think. We've got our friend Joe Bunn is going to be in the show. So it'll be, again, next Tuesday, something totally different. Mm-hmm. So same station, same time, bunch of different guys, and maybe me or not me, but tune in either way. Pretty sure they're going to give some stuff away. And, if they don't, it's going to be live. So you can comment. You can say, hey, Ben said we're giving stuff away. Where's the stuff?
Exactly. Where's the car? They said you're giving away a car.
Yeah, Joe is. I mean, Joe's got mad money. Joe Bunn can give away a car. Daniel and Matthew, they might give away some T-shirts or headphones or something. I don't know. But, so anyway, yeah, be sure to tune in and get some free rolling swag. Just tell them I said they're going to do it. You know what? The show, it's too late. I can't take it back. I already said it.
It's too late.
So
it's out in public now.
Yep. Well, sorry about your bad luck, boys. Let's get back to my screen share, shall we?
Yeah, let's. And it is there.
Boom. Come on. Boom. There we go. Boom. It's like a double boom. All right. So what we can see here is this channel. Moving on, the next channel is entirely different. We could go to your keytar. I wonder if they got a preset for a keytar.
There should be one.
You'd think.
Gus and I just decided in the chat room that this is going to be our dream, is to do a duo with our keytars.
I think you should. Channels 5 and 6, you can see that instead of our presets down in the corner, look down in the lower right-hand corner, we've got mono on and off because this is a possibly stereo channel. It can either be 5 and 6 or 5 and 6. But you can see that we have effects on all of the channels except for 7 and 8. Also notably missing the compressor on our stereo channels.
Uh-huh.
But we do still have the effects on 5 and 6. And, of course, we have the aux on all of them. And that could be important because if I was playing along with a track, and I would want to hear that in my monitor.
Yeah, for sure.
So there we go. Let me move that. I couldn't see it, John. It was bothering me.
Yeah.
That's really it. We still have these signal indicators down here by the mute button. We got peak and signal down there. But it's very simple and yet adequately featured to do a quick live thing like, a ceremony, for example. We've got, officiants. We've got maybe some musicians. We've got some singers. And that's really important. So let's say that our officiant is on channel 1 and maybe our groom is on channel 2. And then we're going to, we want those to be what we would call clean channels or dry channels, no effects. But we've got a singer on channel 3 who's going to, sing a song, and we want to give them a little bit of verb and just kind of, give that some body. And then we can plug their guitar into the channel 4 with the high Z input. And we've still got channels to go. We got our track audio, and we got 5, 6 still open. And we could send a little bit of that aux to the singer's monitor if we wanted to. And it's all built right into the speaker. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
It really is. And again, I would love if they had like a, hardcore mode or something you could click on and you could get into way more features. I don't know what kind of software, I don't know how much processing power is built into the speaker, what they can grow to, but they're off to a great start already. It has the fact that it's got a high pass filter and some basic EQ, aux feed, some effects, and a compressor. That's way more than most DJs we know are taking out right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's already way more than what you're used to having in a lot of ways. And if you've already got a mixer, like we've talked about on previous shows, a UI12 or a UI16 or an XR, series mixer, whatever, well, good for you. Like I said, I wouldn't use the mixer on this probably because I'm a big spoiled baby. But
beyond that.
However, this, being completely truthful, as I always am on this show and every other time, except when I'm, telling my wife that I don't want ice cream. That's not very truthful. I really do want ice cream.
No, honey, I'm good for tonight. I really don't need ice cream.
Yeah, the other night she said, "Do you want an ice cream sandwich?" I'm going to the freezer. And I said, "No, I'm trying. I'm thinking about eating healthier. I'm good." And then she came back and she didn't have one. I'm like, well, I mean, I said no, but I meant yes. I wanted one.
Look at my eyes. My eyes say yes.
I wanted you to just,
say,
be the devil on my shoulder and say, well, I have an ice cream sandwich anyway, honey.
You deserve one, honey. Here's an ice cream. That's
yeah. So, don't agree with me. Just say, no, you look very fit and you eat healthy. You can have an ice cream sandwich. No, she didn't bring me one. So in those times I'm not truthful, but every other time I'm truthful.
We should start a petition.
Yes, we should.
We should.
So, there's a lot of temptation for me with this show coming up to overdo it, to bring a bigger mixer than I need, to do. And of course you want to be prepared, but I did find myself having to fight that urge where I'm like, no, I need to be responsible and just bring what's appropriate. This show does not need an SD7 for crying out loud. Right. So there might be a scenario where, the Evolve 30 is perfect for me. And I can say, you know what, I can grab this thing and I can go, and everything I need, I can carry on one trip, So never say never that I'll never use this mixer.
For sure. Back us out to the main mixer area.
Boy, look how fast that was.
Exactly. So when a person is performing, in this particular case, if I needed a little bit more microphone in the mains, it would be just to scooch it up. If people really didn't want to hear Ben's harmonizing, he could scooch it down. And my keytar would be
right down to about there.
The keytar, according to your son.
There's infinity. There it is.
And according to the crowd in what the keytar, it would have to be maxed out because it would be epic and awesome at the same time.
Keytar all the way to the top. Something else that's cool while we're in this view is we can also go to our 2 effects.
There we go.
And we can jump right in there and we could say, well, I need a little bit more of John in this effect and maybe just a little bit of Ben in this one, but we don't want any of Ben in this one, more John in this one. And we can also mix our monitor from here too. Nobody wants to hear Ben in the monitor, but we need way more keytar. And I do need a little bit more track, but mostly John wants lots of John. So we'll get to bring that keytar back.
He's got that identity issue that has to be solved with lots of John on the monitor.
So you can see how really quickly it is. And we can think about each of these as individual mixes, except that the effects go back into the main mix. So we can basically say, I've got my mixer for my effects 1, I've got my mixer for my effects 2, and I've got my mixer for my aux mix, which can be entirely different from my main mix. Maybe in the aux, I want lots of 5 and 6. It's my click track or whatever, Well, in the main mix, I don't need any of that. So anyway, we can do that. Oh, and also I just want to point out some of these effects that are in here. Lots of options for effects built in, which is really pretty cool. Yeah, I kind of dig that. So a great start,
Yeah.
I think.
That you give people.
And it's just controllable by an app.
Yeah.
You know, it's literally just
a free app for the iPad, and off you go.
And it is the same quick start app that we would use for our other speakers. So if we wanted to go back and look at, controlling the levels or something of an ELX, that sort of thing, we can do that. We can group these together. We can do a lot of things here, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Excellent. I think we've gotten through everything.
That's it.
That's it. That's a look at the app. So wonderful. Thank you guys for being with us this evening. And as Ben mentioned just a little bit ago, next Tuesday night, the 25th of August, it will be a different night. We will have a show. There will be shows going on during the Tuesday night with Ben Stowe hour. But will it be Ben or will it be Katie? That's what we want to know.
Yeah, which one of us will be the spare tire, me or Katie? Because again, when you got a lineup like Daniel Lee and Matthew Chacon, Miles Medina, Joe Bunn, and honestly, I mean, Katie's fantastic too. Everybody knows that. If you don't watch the Katie cast, you're missing out. I don't know what you're doing with your afternoons, but yeah, you know. And if it's me, I'll just be sitting there going, yeah, what he said. That sounded pretty good to me.
That works out really well. So, and of course, with your laser focus, it'll be on topic the whole time.
That'll be my mission, to just try to disrupt the whole thing.
Yeah.
Keep these guys guessing. What will I do next?
Ben, if people are interested in finding out more information about the Evolve 30M, give you a call. They can reach out to you.
Yeah, drop us a message on social, shoot me an email. Everybody can email me directly, as we've talked about in previous shows. I check my own email. They go right to me, ben@nlfxpro.com. Of course, we've got a fantastic team, customer care at nlfxpro.com, and they'll get you to the right person. Katie's fantastic. Ready for this? Katie at nlfxpro.com. That's Katie. Also on Facebook. Basically, whatever is convenient for you to reach us, please do.
That sounds great. You guys can go check it out again, nlfxpro.com. And we'll catch you next week. Well, we'll be back with Brian and Jay here in just a little bit talking music tonight, but then we'll catch you next week. Thanks,
Can
everybody.
we do multi-band compressor in like 2 weeks? Can we do a multi-band compressor?
Multi-band compressor.
Yeah,
that wouldn't get complicated at all. No.
We could do dynamic EQ instead, if that'd be all right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing, but different.
Will my head hurt after we're done?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
But it's a good pain.
No, honey, childbirth is a good pain. Okay.
That's right. Can you tell I'm excited about getting back to doing shows? And I know everybody watching this too, so be safe out there. Soon enough, we're going to be back to rocking.
All righty. We'll catch you guys in just a little bit. We'll be back in about 10 minutes.